I'm Jeff Philbin, and this is Dinner DeeAs, with an idea for not just dinner, but date night. 3 courses of classic dishes that you can make, starting with a bold flavored salad. Then we pass on chicken parm to do chicken piccata and have the fire extinguisher on standby as we try to torch our own creme brulee. Joining me in the Dinner DeeAs kitchen is Chef Christopher Cavoli. Yes, he's a graduate of the French Culinary Institute. Yes, he's learned under top chefs including Jacques Pepin. And yes, he oversees the menu at the acclaimed Sarasota restaurant Sage. But most importantly, his food philosophy is fat equals flavor. My man, welcome to the Dinner DeeAs kitchen.
My pleasure.
With that level of an introduction right there, I can think we could be friends right now.
I think we can.
Fat does equal flavor.
Does.
Chef Christopher has a threefer for us today. A date night dinner with salad, entree, and dessert, made to impress but easy to do. And since it takes the longest, we're actually going to start with this dessert course first, a creme brulee. What do we need to do first then?
Well, the first thing, I steep the milk a little bit, heavy cream, of course.
Okay.
And then classic
So when you're
splitting
steeping the heavy cream here, what are you trying to do with it? What kind of, are you trying to hold
I'm
it?
trying to get a little bit warm,
Okay.
but most importantly, I wanted to, when the vanilla bean hits, I wanted to be able to just start cooking right away.
Right away. So you're
That's
getting
a real-
it right up to that point, maybe about what? We'd say about 190 or so?
Approximately,
Something
yeah.
in and around
And
that.
you want to scrape it, throw your
Okay.
vanilla bean in there.
All right, so what do we need to do next with this?
Right now, we're just going to blend that in there, kind of meld them. You see the steam coming up. That vanilla bean's going to cook for about 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
Then we're going to put it on an ice bath, and then we're going to start to use our egg mixture and get everything going.
I love it. So dessert's kind of starting. What about like a little appetizer to get the ball rolling? What do we need to do?
Right over here.
All
let's,
right.
puntarelle salad.
A puntarelle salad. What do we need to do to get this
So
going?
right now we're going to get in our blender here. Make sure your blender's set. Always test to make sure it's on because, you know, stuff happens. Add your extra virgin first, always. Some people, if they do it the other way, and then I add the anchovy because I want that to blend really like quickly.
Okay.
And then I use a balsamic glaze.
Now, glaze versus just using balsamic vinegar, what does it do for you with this recipe then?
Density. Density holds it together. Some
Okay.
people use mustard. I use a glaze.
Okay. And because of just the viscosity, does it help kind of thicken it a little bit too to give?
And it holds, it doesn't
holds
separate.
It's okay. Very cool.
So we're going to put just a pinch of salt. I know everybody's freaking out when you see that. But salt equals flavor
It's
as
gonna
well.
go a long way with this.
Salt enhances everything.
Okay.
Okay, so
A
we're
lot
going
of
to
extreme flavors already happening right
You
now.
gotta.
Okay.
You can throw it all in, and that's what I'm going to do to bring it together.
Okay. And going in, the last ingredient was what?
Vinegar, red wine vinegar.
Just a little red wine vinegar.
Right. And then we're going to put our top on. These fun little blender. And we're almost there. See as it's coming together? Mm-hmm. There's your vinaigrette.
That's it. To make Chef Christopher's idea for a date night dinner for you and a date, or the family, or just yourself, grab his recipes at dinnerdeas.com or use the QR code in the bottom left corner of the screen. Just open the camera app on your phone, point it at the TV, and when the box down there is in frame and in focus, also big enough, a link to us will appear.
You'll see how it's holding together?
Yeah.
But it's still a liquid. So you don't want to go too bad, but you see that pepper in there.
Absolutely. And then what do you have inside the bowl already then?
So this is local escarole, kind of I actually get this, it's sourced locally from St. Petersburg.
Right on.
And then I bought Belgian endive.
Okay, very cool.
So your salt and pepper is already in there. Notice I'm not using tongs. Metal tongs, when people use them, it bruises the lettuce.
Yeah.
So you don't want that to happen. You want to get in there. You're almost massaging it. That was the second roll.
Hey, I like that one because that's going to be the best part of the bowl
So we're
dish
going to
right there.
move our salt and pepper over
Okay.
there because we're going to need it after. And here's how you learn plating techniques. You go right to the center. You try to elevate as best you can.
And giving it height. Oh, you want to take a little taste of this one?
Sure.
Let's go for it.
I like it.
Ooh, that dressing's nice.
but the anchovy's not overwhelming. You get the bitterness. You get the acid, a little bit of sweet because it's red wine vinegar.
Yeah. Oh, it's working very well. It's in harmony. Salad successfully sampled, so we're taking a quick break. When we come back, we get our creme brulee into the oven ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, and whatever time it is, wherever you are, it's date night here in our kitchen. Chef Christopher Cavoli is with us, taking time out from masterminding the menu at Sarasota's Sage Restaurant to make a salad, a chicken piccata, which we'll be making later, and even dessert, the creme brulee that we're working on right now. Before the break, we start on the creme brulee, heating heavy cream and adding real vanilla right from the bean. Then let that cook while we made our puntarelle salad, using a blender to make a dressing of anchovies, extra virgin olive oil, balsamic glaze, salt, pepper, red wine vinegar, and then dressing our escarole and endive with it. Bold flavors to get the meal going. Then during the break, we took the heated cream and vanilla and let it cool in a nice ice bath that you've already pulled. So what's next?
So now we're going to, number one, we're going to get our sugar into our egg. So the egg yolks, again, watch what we're doing because it's very important. Pinch of salt. You always use salt in pastry because it elevates the flavor.
It brings everything together. Okay.
And you want to get your mixture going here. Your egg, your sugar, pinch of salt.
It screams date night, man.
Exactly.
It really does,
does,
doesn't it?
Who doesn't like a little vanilla on their tongue?
Like it's just kind of I don't know, it rounds up the entire experience.
But you'll notice how it became pale yellow now?
Yeah, it's totally changed.
And I have a rag underneath here, damp rag. Why?
Control, I'm assuming. Like
Yes.
You want to make sure that you're having this, because if it just starts wobbling around, I mean, you could be having broken glass anywhere.
And you're running around the counter chasing the bowl.
No one wants to do that.
So you
no one
wanna
wants to
do
do that. More
So what
control
we're
here.
going to do here is we're going to use a little technique called tempering. You're going to pour a little bit in. You're going to go. Tempering is making sure it comes together, brings the egg, the milk, the cream, the sugar, everything to even temperature. So then you don't have to worry about breakage. You're going to go in again. Rubber spatula, because you want to get every drop of that vanilla bean in there. Do not miss a beat.
Yeah, it's so important here on this one here to scrape everything that you've got. To grab Chef Christopher's recipes for a delicious date night dinner, head to our website, dinnerdeas.com. Or just scan the QR code in the bottom corner of the screen to find us right now on your phone.
Now we're straining. A lot of people are like, why do you strain custard? Well, you see that little bit of egg yolk or stuff like that? Mm-hmm. I don't want to use the term impurities, but that could also break the custard as well. So we're going to put it in there, and anything like a fatty posit or anything that could break the custard will. So we're going to just move it. You don't press. You just move it to get it through the sieve. And if you look, even if the cream was cold, see the egg posits there?
100%.
That would break the custard.
And that would totally change and ruin the entire dish.
Right. I mean, if you're going to do something like that and it does break, can you do something to it? The answer is no.
You got to start over.
You got to start over.
You got to start over.
Water bath, parchment paper on the bottom.
How high up do you want to go with that water bath?
You go probably halfway up the ramekin.
And what does the water bath do for this
Helps.
dish? How does it do?
Helps it evenly distribute the heat amongst the porcelain.
And then, like, what I'm looking at the bottom, I'm seeing parchment paper. What's the parchment paper for?
Parchment paper stops. So, for example, porcelain against porcelain. Water's there, but that ramekin is hitting the porcelain on the bottom, so it's going to burn on the bottom. It's going to break on the bottom.
So having that parchment paper creates that nice barrier, so that way, then again, it gets back to just having
Exactly.
even temperature, distribution, and a better end product.
Go to any restaurant. I'll give you two keys here. If you go to the bottom of creme brulee and you see little bubbles, that means they didn't use parchment. Okay. Another thing, if your creme brulee does not have all those little black specks, they're using extract.
Ooh. Now you're going to be looking at it. Next time you go, you know you're going to be looking for me like, oh, that's what Chef Chris said. I know you. You're going to be doing that because
they're cheating.
They're cheating, and you're going to find out. You're going to be looking for it, but you could also be looking at this and making this for yourself, because while our creme brulee gets cooking, we're taking another break. When we come back, find out why chicken parm is off the menu and what's on it in its place. Ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, where we're about to make course number 3 of 3 for our date night dinner with our guest chef, Christopher Cavoli from Sage in Sarasota. If you just joined us, we've already made a pontarella salad. We're about to do our chicken entree. And over behind us in the oven is the dessert that we made before the break. Our creme brulee came together when we combined egg yolks and sugar, a little salt with the cooled cream and vanilla from earlier. Then poured that into ramekins in a water bath with an all-important layer of parchment paper underneath to control the cooking process. Then put it in a 300-degree oven for about an hour. And if you didn't see the last segment, watch it again on our website for Chef Christopher's tips to know if a restaurant is making your creme brulee the right way. And that is the only way, I think.
That is the only way.
Now, something that's a little controversial too. People think, like, I'm going out for Italian food and they got chicken. So many of the right way for them is chicken parm. I gotta have chicken parm. I see chicken parm. I gotta have the chicken parm. It's the only thing I know.
But it's wrong. They're not getting
But it's
chicken
the-
parm.
okay, so
Why? Because there's mozzarella on top.
Okay.
Where's the Parmesan?
See? So then what would be a better alternative than someone that's saying, you ain't getting what you're supposed to get on the menu? It doesn't make
Exactly.
any sense for it.
That's why when you buy lasagna parmigiana, there's Parmesan cheese on
It's the
top.
Parmesan cheese to it there.
But why put mozzarella on top?
It's that ooey gooey that we just want to make sure that it looks good for the camera.
It's that
isn't it?
Americanized.
It's the Americanization of it. So let's take it back to something a little more simple, something a little bit more rooted in, maybe tradition here. So what are we going to be making instead of chicken parm?
Chicken piccata. Chicken piccata. I use a thicker, smaller.
I'm looking at that going like, you're not pounding this out. You've gone.
Do you know why?
Please tell me.
More moisture and a thinner chicken breast is going to dry out quicker.
Yeah.
So have your gloves on because touching chicken is not what I would consider an attractive place to be. You notice I had the pan heated. And as you'll see in the recipe, when the oil has an even flow, that's what you're looking for. So whatever's in there, there might have been some water left in there, it's popping off.
Popping off.
Once that cooks off, we'll put our chicken breast in. But you see that, make sure you get into those kind of little bevels or insert the flour any way you can. The flour does two things. It browns and it thickens the sauce.
Very nice.
You can grab your oil, you can pull it that way. And if you expect your kitchen to be clean when you're doing this,
It never is.
good luck.
It never is. But I
But
think that's the
I'm a
joy
guy
of the dredging station. That's the joy of it. Get a little flour, you're having fun. And don't forget that you can have fun too by grabbing the recipe for this dish, plus the salad we did earlier, and the dessert we're patiently waiting for at dinnerdeas.com. Scan the QR code in the corner of the screen to follow the recipes on your phone and to watch the show over again if you missed any of it.
Just lift a little. You want them to be fairly brown, so that's not there yet, you
Yeah.
see? So you're gonna let that cook a little. Move your oil around a little bit. Is the oil going to cook your flour? Yes. But when we add in our other ingredients, it's gonna be fantastic. Not to mention, just the flavor itself. Again, I'm a guy that likes acid in my food. And so I use malt vinegar for French fries.
You and my wife would get along really well because that is the only way that she will have a French fry.
Is she from the side of the pond?
Well, no, she's not. But she's not. But she just has good taste. It sounds like.
There you go. And it can't be cheap malt vinegar
It's gotta be
either.
the good stuff.
It's like when you make
That stuff's got to come over for us.
when you make bagels. Good New York bagel
Yeah.
has malt in it.
And that is totally a difference maker. So when, let me ask you a question. Down in Sarasota, are there any that you're like, wow, because you're originally from up in the New York area yourself, do you kind of miss a good bagel sometimes?
So you're gonna laugh.
Yeah, please.
One, I have them shipped in.
You get the bagel shipped or you get the water shipped
I
in?
have the bagel shipped. No, the water is easy to fix.
Okay.
You know why? So I opened restaurants all over the
Yeah,
nation, and in order to get a pizza dough, you have to have a high calcium water
Yes,
content.
yes.
So what I do is I take calcium tablets, pulverize them in like a coffee grinder,
Okay.
and add that to the water.
Okay.
And then you're getting the calcium.
Okay.
I'm weird.
No, it's the basic principles that you kind of want. I mean, I'm originally from the Connecticut area, so
So
for
you
me,
get it.
it's New Haven style pizza, so it has that distinct bit of what was the coal that's going to impart that flavor. It's the water and the minerals
Right.
that also mixes for a New York style pizza. All right, so
I added the shallots.
Yep.
And now I'm adding the capers. I took the shallots for a little bit, and now I'm adding the capers. Capers does two things, but the most important thing it does for me is add salt.
it's that salt.
So this is my other anchovy.
Okay. It's that little burst right there. I am like, if you've watched it, you know I love capers. Like, I just love them.
You want to try something really good. It's tedious, but get the larger capers, put them on a toothpick.
Okay.
Make a gin martini and let those soak in there, and then eat the capers.
Ooh.
Forget the olives.
Ooh, don't do the
capers.
olives then at that point, because I like a blue cheese somehow, but like, I'm kind of like, I'll pick it up when you're throwing down, my man.
But notice how it's cooking. You've
Absolutely
got to get
beautiful.
it seared on both sides.
And all of that flour, again, makes a beautiful crust right there. So you can see all of that color,
And
all
where's
of that
the
change.
where's the burning?
And
There is none.
gone.
The other thing to remember about this, searing both sides of a protein is called cooking by concentration. When you sear both sides, it seals the juices. If you do not sear both sides in the correct manner, the juices come out and you have a dry protein.
Ugh.
So now at this point, we want to get it cooking fairly well. So lemon juice. We can even turn up the heat a little bit, right? Separate them a little bit so they're not crowding each other.
Absolutely.
That lemon
incredible.
juice you can smell
You
really
can smell,
well.
and it's reduced down a little bit to concentrate those flavors and intensify it as well.
Pepper,
Oh,
a little bit of salt. I always do that. I love to freak people out. So you take salt, a little bit of salt like that, and go like this. And they're like, oh my God, that's so much salt. No, it's a pinch. It's just the dramatics I bring to it.
without a doubt. You gotta have fun when you're cooking, my man. I can tell that.
You gotta
with
freak people out. That's what you
Take them along for that journey with you.
My favorite thing is to ask somebody to try a raw clam.
Okay.
All you need is a little bit of a pickled shallot,
Yeah.
Tabasco,
You're gone.
gone.
Yeah.
Where'd I learn that? In
In
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
That, mussels, steamers.
All of that. Used to go up the Bill singing bridge up there.
So what I like to do to flavor, because you can see the lemon juice is cooking down now.
Yep.
But before that starts, the garnish on, I let the lemon kind of soak into the top of the chicken as well.
Okay.
And it's also a nice garnish. The steam will cook that lemon down a little bit,
Very nice.
right? And then we're going to add our chicken broth. And now we can turn the heat up a little bit more.
And then we're just gonna let this.
And we're just going to let it reduce and cook down.
I love that. If you have a question about anything you've seen on Dinner Diaz, find us at facebook.com/Dinner Diaz. That's what Chuck did. He saw the sous vide short ribs that I made and wanted to know, do you recommend roasting turkey in a bag? Chef, I got my ideas on it. What's your thoughts on it?
If you're going to go to that extreme, my answer is no.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to that extreme.
Okay.
You're looking at a minimum of 36 hours.
For a whole turkey,
in
if you're
sous
doing a
vide.
whole turkey.
But if you're going to do that, you need a big bag.
Yeah.
And you need to spatchcock it.
And
Take
even
the
then-
bottom out and then flatten it out.
And even then, you've got white meat, dark meat. They're going to cook at different times for it. It's not going to work the way that you're thinking it's going to work.
I believe that people do create things for a reason, but there's also things that go wrong.
Yeah.
And cooking a turkey in sous vide will go wrong.
So maybe a smaller little turkey breast. Try it out, figure out, and then
Break
say if
the
it
turkey
works.
down and do them separately.
That's what I'm talking about. Chuck, I think you just got your answer there, my man. We're going to take one last break. When we come back, we find our flamethrower to finish up our creme brulee. Ahead on Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz with ideas for an at-home date night or just a great dinner for any night. Thanks to Chef Christopher Cavalli. He's taking a break from restaurant Sage in Sarasota to share 3 dishes with us. A puntarelli salad that we made earlier, chicken piccata that we're finishing up, and a creme brulee for dessert. You're just starting to pull everything over here. The sauce is reduced just a little bit, thickened because of that flour coating. And then the best part about it,
The sauce.
it's the sauce. It's those capers. It's like all the little bits
It
right
is.
there. Oh, makes me happy.
It's good stuff.
You know what else makes me really happy? Dessert. So what do we need to do to finish this
I'm
up?
going to finish this off with some white sugar.
Okay.
I always tell people, move that sugar around.
How important is that? What does that do for it?
Evenly distributes the sugar so you have an even keel of bite.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like crema catalana,
Yeah.
they use an iron, and sometimes you get the granules.
Bingo.
You should not get the granules. And this lovely little torch that I just got.
That are easy to find at
Most
online. You can find them.
You can find them online. See, as you start to caramelize, you want an even keel burn on the sugar.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't want to bring a big, like welding torch in here for this.
No, this is about control. This is about safety as well. And what are you going for? Like you're moving it around constantly so it doesn't burn. But what's the color? What are you looking
Amber.
for? Amber. So there's just that nice, that's it.
That's it.
Gorgeous.
It's one of the things I tell people, always use white sugar, caster sugar. Don't use brown sugar.
Okay.
Everybody cheats with that. Yeah, it caramelizes easier, but it tastes like maple. So
Yeah.
you're masking the vanilla.
Celebrate the vanilla and celebrate this dishes and celebrate this man right here. Thanks to Chef Christopher, his date night recipes are all ready for you to print at dinnerdeas.com, along with a link to Sage in case you want to check that he does his creme brulee the right way. We're going to hold you to it, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
I'm Jeff Philbin. See you next time with more ideas for dinner, or as we call them, Dinner Dias.